Take a good look at this face. It's not only possessed by the man who has had starring roles in The Black Stallion and Heart Like a Wheel. Also now in Gremlins, it's the face of an erstwhile inventor. It also happens to belong to a man by the name of Hoyt Axton. And before we look at any other of Axton's work here in Gremlins, I'm going to show you something else. His boots. Could we take a look at his boots, please? Could we get a shot of these? Hoyt, these are the most interesting boots I've seen at least all week. Is there a story here?
Yeah, I was down in South America, John, just a few years ago. There was a beautiful Aztec princess. She'd been trapped by some
She had a skin problem,
Himalayan travel agents. They were on vacation down there.
Those are really something.
These were a gift from a friend in Tennessee, and I have no idea what they are. They're snakeskin boots, I guess.
Well, you
All
certainly
I know is they keep the weather out.
You certainly do travel around a lot. Of course, you still have your band, your composer, songwriter, performer, actor in the movies. Anything in there that's still your favorite, or you just want to keep doing them all as the years go by?
Well, if I can get away with it, I'm going to keep doing them all.
However, if you had to choose one, singing and performing as opposed to acting, which one?
I'm afraid I'd have to sing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, music's been a part of my life since I was a child. I wrote my first song when I was 15. My mother was an English teacher. She co-wrote Elvis Presley's first million seller, Heartbreak Hotel, you know. Send my baby love me, remember that? And I've always loved music and always written songs.
And recently we've heard one of your songs, of course, in The Big Chill.
Oh, yeah, I wrote the song, Jeremiah was a bullfrog, yeah.
Well, the idea of a singer, songwriter, and performer becoming a movie actor must pose special problems to you. Is learning how to project before an audience of any help to you at all on a movie set?
I don't know, I guess it must be.
Something's working right.
John, my attitude towards acting is the same attitude I had when I was a kid playing cops and robbers, you know. I mean, it's still that attitude. I'm not an actor. I'm not a trained actor, I'm just...
Does it help maybe if you don't take it too seriously then? Ultimately, does that become an advantage?
It helps me. No, yeah, that's not to denigrate anybody who has spent 30 years, you know, perfecting an art, the art of acting. I mean, I have a great deal of respect for those people. I'm just not a serious actor. You know.
As far as the performer goes, why does your band call you Jabba the Hutt?
Maybe I weigh 300 pounds, man, you know, and I'm from Oklahoma. They're just picking on me.
Let's call you Jabba the Inventor now in Gremlins. You have all kinds of little gadgets that you work with. How would you describe your character, though? You tell me about it.
I think my character is a nice guy.
Tries hard.
Tries hard. He's an inventor, as you mentioned. He just doesn't seem to invent things that anybody's interested in. But, you know, it's a lot of fun. Really had a good time, and I had a good time at the Inventors Convention. There were a lot of neat inventions there.
You seem sort of surrounded. You have your little kitchen helper there, and yet you're surrounded by robots. Maybe a little bit out of your element, possibly?
Quite a bit. Yeah, as a matter of fact, there is a line in the film, I think, you know, where I'm talking to my wife on the phone. I say, oop, I'm afraid the competition's a little too heavy or something.
There's an early scene in the film where, as dear old dad, you come into a curiosity shop, and being curious yourself, you choose a significant toy for your kid. Now, as a real-life father, would you be that kind of person?
Yep.
For example?
Sure would.
You've gotten gifts for the kids? How many kids?
Well, I have 4 children, all the way from a year and a half old to 22 years old, you know.
A year and a half to 22?
Yeah. And a couple of weeks ago, I went down to Arizona and went to a place where they breed wolves, and I bought my little boy a wolf cub. So
every kid should have one.
Well, they can grow up together.
That's a dangerous precedent on the block.
I don't think so. No, he has 2 other dogs to play with, so he's going to grow up thinking he's a dog. He won't know he's a wolf. Yeah.
Where is your hat hanging now? Where is home?
I have several homes. I have a place right outside of Nashville, and then I have a ranch in Oklahoma, cattle ranch, and I have a home in Lake Tahoe, California, on the California side of Lake Tahoe.
Okay. Tell us some more now about Gremlins before we run out of time, because it is a mixture of what I would call some violence and some sentiment, and I'm wondering if you, as a parent of children of all ages, will have a special recommendation for kids.
Well, I think if you're going to take a child under 7 or 8 years old, you should definitely, you know, a parent should take the child, okay? That's my personal opinion. You know, I think, so you can explain to them, if there's something that bothers them, you can you can explain it's just a movie or say whatever you want to say.
Well, because Gremlins is in part, I guess, a horror film. I think that's
Gremlins
fair.
is kind of like E.T. with teeth.
There you go.
Okay.
But this idea of taking kids to a movie with you, I'm wondering if you would recommend to parents watching us right now that maybe that happens more and more with films. That's a good idea?
I think it is a good idea.
For example,
If you're talking about a 7 or 8 year old child, you know, and it also depends on the child, what kind of grip on reality he has, you know. You know what I mean, Jeff?
I think so. I'm still gripping.
Well, no, I'm saying if the child has been brought up in a, you know, to believe in fantasy, if he hasn't been able, he or she hasn't been able to delineate between fantasy on television and the commercial, you know what I'm saying? If he doesn't know that difference between reality and fantasy, then I think that the parent should make that clear to him.
I would think on the set of Gremlins, sometimes the difference must have been a little bit thin. What was life like on the set of Gremlins?
It was great. By the time the film was, we finished filming the principal photography with, you know, the human beings and the little creatures. I believed in them. You know, I wanted to take one home and have it as a pet. I think people will enjoy the film. And the nice thing is that good wins out over evil, and I always like those kinds of films.
Yeah, but how about working with the Gremlins themselves? Did that strain your patience sometimes?
Not a bit.
A lot of waiting while the technicians set it up?
I had no problem with that.
What a nice guy.
Well, it was a good crew. Everybody was professional. They knew what they were doing. They were all good guys.
But is it always that way shooting?
No, it's not always that way. This is my 6th motion picture. I've been on a couple of films where there was a lot of grumbling and moaning and groaning and complaining. I didn't hear or see any of that on this movie.
Hoyt Axton, what's on the horizon for you now? If not another outlandish invention, what else? What? Movies or
keep going.
songs?
Movies, television, songs. I have a new record I just finished called American Dreams, and it'll be out in another month or so. And, you know, same old, John.
Even when this man talks, he sings. Hoyt Axton, who is the inventor, dear old dad, in Joe Dante and Steven Spielberg's Gremlins through Warner Brothers. Hoyt Axton, thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
This is John Tibbetts.